Not quite there yet. That's us, I think. Is it? Are you seeing anything? No, that's us. Lovely. We are live. This is Time to Talk. I am Dr. Claire Gilvray, and I am joined again by Dr. Hussain, Al-Zubaidi, and Dr. Haz. I love that you've got your tagline there. That's how we know you in our house. You came on this show. I needed to look at this and I didn't, but it feels like it was about 2 years ago. We've had a gap and we're kind of coming back round again. And the reason I gave you a call, the reason I brought you on is that I know you are so passionate about helping people to be physically active. And I find you're everywhere. We never understand how you do everything that you do. I mean, for people who don't really know you, can you explain a little bit about all the different roles that you have, if you can do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Hussain. I'm a GP based in the West Midlands, in sort of Leamington Spa, and I have an extended role in lifestyle and obesity medicine. I have a sort of portfolio career, so a few different roles that I juggle at the same time, in addition to working in primary care. That is at the Royal College of GPs as one of the lifestyle and physical activity champions alongside Callum Leese. I work at Parkrun for a day a week as the health partnerships lead, focusing on trying to bring collaborations at these events that Parkrun run globally with various different health organizations and individuals. And I work at Red Whale, which is a medical education platform, and I lead the obesity and the lifestyle medicine courses. This is aimed at trying to upskill healthcare professionals across the sphere on the impact that lifestyle medicine can have, both privately or within the NHS. And I also work with fitness professionals at Future Fit, where I help guide them, again, lifestyle medicine and obesity medicine, giving them CPD to support their clients better. And there's probably other things, cool. And apologies if I missed them.
No, but I think because you have all these different roles, you also get invited to sit around tables where decisions are being made, conversations are happening around all of this, around physical activity, breaking down barriers, health inequalities. I see you at a lot of kind of events, kind of speaking passionately about these areas. And you're an athlete. I think you and I connected last time at the Boston Marathon. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Congratulations to you as well. It's such a fantastic event.
It was a good event. And I think the conversation that we had in our little warm-up run before that was around all the stuff that was happening with the Nike signs. Do you want to say a little bit about that? Because I think that's at the heart of a lot of what you do. It kind of really tugged at something for you, didn't it? Tell me.
For sure, yeah. I went to Boston, isn't it, just to have a holiday. But it seems that work caught up with me. So landed into Boston and was just walking down Newbury Street, which is one of the main streets in the center of town. And I saw the Nike store. They always have great adverts, at least in my opinion. These great signs that when you do events, they sort of they spur you on to, keep pushing. And so I was reading the advert, hoping for another great advert, but it read something that, I didn't like it. And so what it read was, it said, runners welcomed, walkers tolerated. And I get why they've done it, because this is the Boston Marathon. Big proportion, although not all, have qualified for this event. So you're aiming at an elite audience, or at least, elite to some level. Now, what they're trying to say is that, this is the Boston Marathon, only the best of the best. But the issue that I had with it was, one, it was focusing on the identity. It was runners, rather than running welcome, walking tolerated, which I get. When I plan to do my marathon, I'm hoping not to walk, for me particularly. And so sometimes I do walk, and it helps me to get to the end of the race, and fine, but I'm not hoping for it. So I can see why they're going for it. But they used the term runners and walkers because I think they were more going towards the kind of deeper sort of thoughts of elitism, where many that do the Boston Marathon are annoyed that there are charity runners and that there are people that are paying for packages that are getting to the race start line, and it's getting rid of the allure of qualifying for it. And some people work very hard over many years to achieve it. And I get both point of view, but I just didn't like the fact that when we think about these kind of events, including Boston, they're powerful because they should encourage people to find more
To be
movement,
moving.
and that
Yeah.
could be anything. So sometimes I've had conversation with patients where they watch, let's say, the London Marathon, and then
Yeah.
suddenly it motivates them to swim, or it
Yeah.
motivates them to go for a walk with a family or cycle to the town. And I get
Yeah.
loads of these messages from people saying that, oh, what I saw here, what I did there, that inspired me to do this or that. And so we should never demonize any form of movement. Um, and we should always use positive messaging. Because I think you could have framed it towards that audience and big them up
Yeah.
without having to punch other people down.
Someone else down. Because I guess the bit that this linked across for me was what you do with Park Run and Park Walk and Park Volunteers. I don't know. Do you have some stats at your hand, like to do with the benefits of Park Run? I feel like you write them occasionally. Throw them at
Yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah, no, for
What
sure.
what benefits do we have when we're walking, when we're volunteering?
So we do
What do
have
you?
quite a kind of in-depth dossier in terms of the
Mm,
evidence for health benefits in park. And we're very lucky because we get lots of different academic institutions from all over the world looking to do research, given our scale and depth.
yeah.
And really across the board, whether you're volunteering, walking or running, they all see health benefits.
Mm,
It tends to come down in terms of physical health benefits and reduced cardiovascular risk and potential risk outcomes. Also, improve mental health and confidence around being active, and also life satisfaction and social connectedness, which I think
oh, I love that.
nowadays is
Mm,
needed more than ever. Because I think when I
mm,
think of park run, it's not a run or a walk in a park. It's a bit more than that. It's kind of a community hub. When I go down to my local park run, and I think of all the people that I'm friends with and chat to there that I wouldn't have known if I hadn't gone to parkrun. And
yeah.
many of the people that are now that I know within my community, my actual vicinity, I've built up through parkrun because it just feels like such a lower barrier to have those kind of friendships than if you
Yeah.
had to go out and knock on people's door, because now it's so much harder to make friends with people on your street because we're so busy.
Yeah. And it's such an easy thing as a doctor to suggest to our patients, isn't it? Because they're everywhere, they're free. And to be able to say to someone who really isn't that physically active, actually you'll have benefit if you just go and watch it, is quite a powerful kind of message. Because even that 5K world where for you that's like, literally a walk in a park, but for somebody else that's just like a marathon and a mountain too high. But just being there is beneficial, and that's the really lovely message that I give, and I know that you give that out all the time as well.
100%.
Do you
100%. In
do you
fact,
have any
volunteers get
other
some of
kind
the.
of top tips or things? Yeah. No,
Oh,
go for it.
sorry. I was just saying, volunteers, in fact, get the biggest benefits when it comes to life satisfaction compared to any of the other types of
Yes.
participation. So it's definitely viewed as an equal, if not better, form of participation.
I love it. And also that there's the kids version, isn't there? Our kids do the junior park
Yeah,
run, which is
junior
a really
park run.
lovely
Yeah,
kind of natural step up. Because I guess if we, and maybe this is a different conversation, but when we're thinking about that world of overweight and obesity, we know that actually that preventative piece needs to start in childhood, and kind of going out and getting our kids active. That's another really powerful thing we can do, as a society, to be able to kind of protect the health of our future generations and
definitely,
things, isn't it? Um,
definitely.
do you have any other top tips? Because we've got the park run where we can kind of be suggesting this as something for people to do. The other things that often come up in my room with patients is this: how do I find motivation? I think I was talking to someone even just yesterday, like, how do I find enjoyment in this? Like, it's something that I really just don't enjoy. What's your kind of, I bet you've got kind of some lovely things that you say to patients when they feel that they don't have the joy of movement.
Yeah, so I think first and foremost is try to understand why do they feel like they need to be more active. And
Mhm.
so what's the barrier then? Obviously the motivation, but like what is it that they're trying to achieve that motivation is
Mhm.
stopping them from? Because definitely really formalizing that why can help when you're trying to
Yeah.
have those conversations with yourself early doors. And then I ask them, what do they view physical activity as? Like, for example, I asked them, okay, so if you had the motivation, what would you do? And they
Mhm.
describe it to me, and they maybe describe some previous attempts that they did. And I look to see how has the approach, how could it be changed to make it easier to adopt to start off with. Because something I try to explain is that we need to just get some skin in the game. We don't need to care too much about what that is. And
Yeah.
so sometimes people view it as, I need to, for example, start running. And so what they do is they go out, they do catch the 5K, which they think means, okay, that's going to be a process. But how they adopt it, they don't quite do it right, because they envisage running to be a certain thing. And in reality, for them, they're doing like sprinting. And so
Yeah.
although visually they feel like I'm not moving that quick, and so this must be what running is, and I'm finding it incredibly difficult and challenging and painful, etc. In reality, they're like at a really high zone. And no wonder they're not enjoying it, because if you made me do that kind of high zone for as long as the periods as they need to do, then I'm not going to work. I'm not going to do it to start off with. It's going to be
Yeah. Yeah.
impossible. So I try
Yeah.
to teach them to say that, look, instead, just focus on your breathing, focus on the effort, and focus on working in the soft margins of discomfort. Not, you don't need to smash every session. Okay, you
Yeah.
don't need
Yeah.
to feel like your lungs are about to explode and your heart's going to go
Yeah.
off. So we just need to work on those soft margins, and then over time, what you define as running will change, if it's running or swimming or cycling, whatever you pick. But people always go out too hard, and they do it for too long, and they expect too much of themselves too early. So I really try to explain that even 5-10 minutes
Yeah.
from
That's the
a
thing, isn't it?
baseline,
Yeah.
that is huge. Like, and you get the most benefits in each of those 5-minute increments. It slowly diminishes. So I try to tell people, let's get skin in the game. If that is literally 10 minutes across the week, that's our starting point. And then we
Yeah.
fight to keep that 10 minutes, and then see how can we move the trenches slightly further up to 12 to 15 to 20. And I explain that we've got to be patient. Otherwise, we'll go through the same process of boom and bust.
Yeah, and I think we started as well yesterday to talk a little bit about just the little things you can add on to the activity that might make it more fun, like doing it with a friend, like maybe doing it with a group, like maybe listening to your favorite tunes, all the kind of little things you can do on the side that just make it a bit more enjoyable. Do you still do? Do you do a group with your GP practice that you go out and run with, walk
100%.
with,
Yeah.
both?
We've done it since 2019. It's happened every Monday, apart from a bank
That's
holiday.
amazing.
We have never cancelled or missed one. And we have 4 groups. We have those that do a gentle walk, which is for those with accessibility issues, wheelchairs, sticks. We then have a group which is our power walkers. We call this is the speed that you should be walking at if you're late for your GP appointment. That's our introduction to it. So it should be pretty quick. And then we have our kind of our gentle walkers, and they are doing a mixture of jeffing, so a bit of walking, bit of jogging, so taking the time. We're probably covering about 3 to 4 kilometers in about 40-ish minutes, so whatever works for them. And then we have our runners, and that generally is not moving quickly, because it's all about talking, and it's called Run Talk Run, and it's
Yeah.
powered through a charity called Sport in Mind. And so yeah, we run it every week. It's literally my favorite part of the week, without
Yeah,
fail.
it's cool. Do you get a feeling that this is starting to happen in other practices? Have you heard other practices adopting what you have?
Yeah, so there's 4 other practices that I know of that
Brilliant.
deliver either through Sport in Mind or another provider. So yes, it's growing. I know that there are a lot of practices that do walking. So there's like
Yeah.
the walk with the doc scheme, and so I don't know the numbers, but there's a lot more than that. And yeah, I would highly recommend it. And remember, you don't have to deliver it like we do. We deliver it because we're just passionate and love it, and so we enjoy
Yeah.
doing it. But you can get community groups that are already existing to deliver it for you. So there'll be walking groups, there'll be running groups out there in your community. Reach out to them and say, look, we'd love it if you maybe base your runs or sessions from the practice on this week, and we can then promote it to our patients. Yeah, like, because they are often desperate for more people to support and to help, real pillars of our community. So let's
Yeah.
work together with the voluntary sector in areas like this.
Do you have a top tip in terms of finding those people that exist? Are there, I mean, I've obviously
Yeah.
heard of Sport in Mind. I've heard of Run Talk Run. Are there other kind of groups or other people that you would suggest practices reach out to if they're interested?
I'd say the greatest strength that I have, and why a lot of the stuff that we do gets traction, is because I've got those contacts and that knowledge of the ecosystem. I learnt that through my local active partnership. So the active partnerships are charities set up by Sport England that cover the whole of England. There's 42 different active partnerships. There's ones in Wales as well. And they are there to use Sport England funding to support physical activity, in particular where there are inequalities at play. And health is a key focus for many of them. They are desperate for healthcare professionals from primary, secondary, all aspects to reach out to them to find out how they can support you, either by giving you an asset map of your area to say, look, this is what's going on
Okay.
physical activity wise,
Yeah.
or like they have for us, actually give us funding to help us create a lot of the groups that we do, whether that be in partnership with a provider. So, for example, they gave us funding with a local dance group to do some sessions on osteoarthritis of the knee and hip to strengthen, and that was
Amazing.
brilliant. And so they gave
Yeah.
us funding to help send text messages to patients and communicate it and build up referrals, and they gave part of the funding to the actual provider to help fund those sessions and to do an evaluation of the benefits. So active partnerships, reach out to your local one. I promise you, you will not regret it.
Yeah, awesome. And again, if you're a patient and you're sitting in a practice and you're kind of keen, it's just about finding someone in that practice, isn't there? Finding a partner, finding someone who can kind of get this happening with you. Because I often think when I've talked to people like the Run Talk Run world and Jess, like she talks about going to her first run and there only being one person there. And these sorts of, these sessions often do start like that, don't they? And then it's sort of word of
Yeah, I
mouth
had
and
three
people bringing
people
a
in my
friend.
first one, and one
Yeah.
of them was my wife. So I don't know whether you can count that. And so, yeah, it took time. Now,
Yeah.
yeah, we reliably get 25, 30 people, but, this is 6 years down the line. I'd say it probably took about 8 to 10 months to get traction and to really start
Yeah.
seeing, good flow of people through, which takes time. For patients listening that are thinking, okay, how can I get support and understanding as to where I could start, how I could get
Mm.
active? A brilliant app is the We Are Undefeatable app.
Mm.
It's completely free. It was funded by National Lottery and Sport England, and it is designed by the Richmond Group of Health Charities. So that's all the UK-based health charities like Asthma and Lung UK, Parkinson's UK,
Yeah.
etc. And it's used AI to help guide physical activity structure. So you go on it, you give them your details. It takes a video of you doing certain movements to get an idea of your
Wow,
flexibility
I
and your
didn't know
power and
that.
that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
then it creates sessions for you that you do along, and then it will adapt them over time. If you say, oh, that was a bit too difficult, it will adapt. If you say, oh, that was easy peasy, it will adapt. And so I would highly recommend it. It is free, and it's always free. And it's a brilliant resource. We Are Undefeatable app.
Because that's interesting. Maybe we don't go in the thing. Sometimes the AI stuff gets it wrong. We
Oh,
hear
yeah,
this,
yeah,
don't
yeah.
we? I love
Definitely.
that.
This one gets it right.
So
I'll be
glad.
honest, 'cause I've used it myself. When I had
It's
a
that
bike
world
accident.
of having a human being. Okay.
100%. Yeah, I had a bike accident about a year and a half ago and fractured my clavicle. And so I thought, let me use this app
Mm,
to see like how it will help with the rehab. And I told it that I had a fractured clavicle and this is the thing. The exercises were brilliant. They really helped me kind of stay motivated. It would send me a notification to remind me to do the 5-10 minute exercises and movements. I'd highly recommend it. I think it's AI used correctly. It was designed by a company called Good Boost, who have a lot of history in using
yeah.
AI to actually design it for people with long-term conditions. And Good Boost is a CIC, so it's not there to be making profit. It's there to really kind of give back to that community.
Yeah. Super. I think there's loads of ideas there, isn't there? There's community groups, there's doing it yourself with AI, there's getting in touch with a friend, so many reasons. Just finishing off, what's your top reason to be physically active for you personally?
It's fun. I
Yeah.
have fun with it. I see new places. I meet people. I can sort of see some fantastic views. Sometimes when I run, let's say in the morning, sun's coming up, I sometimes think
Mm.
that I'm the luckiest person in the world to be here right now, running through a Coventry with the sun coming up, and it's just that moment where I'm like, this is brilliant, and
I love
it
that.
really gives you a positive place to start the day.
I love that. Thank you so much for joining us. At the end of these, we always say if there's any questions, please get in touch and I'll pass them on. But thanks for joining us. You always
Thank
are
you.
so positive and passionate about it. So it's really lovely to have you on board. Thank you.